Our governance is compromised. Yes, it is. Our policing is pressurized. Yes, it is. And our state has been quietly captured by those who believe that they are untouchable. The Birch by Romeo Lane inferno that killed 25 people. Today, I want to talk to you about something that every Goan and non-Goan knows, but a little afraid or a little hesitant to talk about. Our policing, our licensing bodies, our district administration, even our safety and regulatory systems, they are not working for the common Goan. Now just think about it for a second. A local Goan family, a Goan home, and on the other side, somebody with the backing of India's top intelligence establishment. Increasingly, there are moneyed networks operating from outside the state, and Delhi is a nerve center. This is not policing. This is capture. This is influence masquerading as bureaucracy. Everyone knows that the Goan system is porous. The seamier side of Goa, the darker side of Goa, the not too pleasant side of Goa. Hello and welcome to my regular show on happenings around Goa. This is Shujoy Gupta. The show is called Straight to the Point, and let's get straight to the point. Namaskar. Today, I want to talk to you about something that every Goan and non-Goan knows, but a little afraid or a little hesitant to talk about. The seamier side of Goa, the darker side of Goa, the not too pleasant side of Goa, which unfortunately is coming out again and again and again, making this not an aberration, but a reality that is staring at us in the face. Behind this huge, massive postcard image that Goa has of beauty, of lovely waters, of great beaches, and so on and so forth, there is a big dark side to this picture-perfect picture. Behind this image is an uncomfortable truth. Our policing, our licensing bodies, our district administration, even our safety and regulatory systems, they are not working for the common Goan. They are working indeed, but not for the common Goan. They are working for politicians. They are working for very, very powerful businessmen, not necessarily in Goa and mainly from outside. Let's take the name of the place where they come from more than the other places, Delhi. Increasingly, there are moneyed networks operating from outside the state, and Delhi is a nerve center. And the proof is not hidden. It's in front of us. In case after case, ordinary Goans are suffering. And law enforcement is bending, but it's bending not towards Goans, but in favor of people who feed the system with money, with power, with support. Tonight, I want to take you through 3 real cases from the last 2 years to show exactly how the system has collapsed and how rules don't apply. Or even if they do, they apply in favor of the powerful and not the weak. Let us look at the first case, the Assagao demolition. Let's begin with Assagao, a village now not famous for its heritage, but for how quickly power can bulldoze your home. In 2024, a Goan family's house in Assagao was demolished, not after a decade-long court battle. Not after any due process, but suddenly, violently, and allegedly under the influence of a very powerful person, the wife of a senior intelligence officer based in Delhi. Now just think about it for a second. A local Goan family, a Goan home, and on the other side, somebody with the backing of India's top intelligence establishment. Multiple reports noted that police hesitation, delayed action, and even internal pressure led to these people getting evicted from their homes. Officers were accused of being instructed, nudged, and pushed to look the other way while this demolition continued, illegal demolition. The woman was summoned, woman meaning the so-called powerful woman who was behind this. She sought anticipatory bail, didn't appear before the police on time, but the system got bent. It bent for this influence. Nothing happened to this lady. Ask yourself, if this had been an ordinary Goan family doing an illegal extension of even 1 meter, would this family have been spared? Absolutely not. Would the police wait? Absolutely not. Would notices be politely ignored? Absolutely not. The Assagao case was not just about land, it was about a demonstration of how law and order enforcement behaves when Delhi power enters Goa. Suddenly, our state machinery becomes submissive, it becomes confused, it becomes afraid to act. This is not policing, this is capture, this is influence masquerading as bureaucracy. Case 2, the cash for jobs scandal. Now let's move to something equally more dangerous, the cash for government jobs. We have seen cases where individuals like Pooja Naik have been accused of taking money for government jobs. Jobs in Goa, jobs in departments that are meant for meritorious Goans, meant for merit, meant for youth. And what do these youths do? They study, they prepare, they sacrifice. Their lives and careers literally are destroyed and cut short by cash for jobs given by moneyed people and who pay cash and supposedly get into government. In this case, even that did not happen. Cash was taken, jobs were not given. Now these jobs are being sold, government jobs are being sold, and the buyers believe that the system can be managed. This is the rot that is there in Goa now. And why do people believe that government jobs can be solved? Because somewhere deep within, everyone knows that the Goan system is porous. A phone call can change a file. A connection can change a posting. A political blessing can turn a scam into a simple misunderstanding. Police question suspects, yes, FIRs are filed. But look at the pattern. Delayed action, half-hearted follow-ups, accused people roaming free for months and months, and most importantly, no deep investigation. Now, who protects them? The answer is clear. Now, obviously, these kind of scams cannot operate without a political father. But there are different political fathers. There are different political shelters. A job scam is not just corruption. It is theft. It is a theft of a Goan's future. Again, the system bent. Because there are networks. There are political, bureaucratic and business networks. And ultimately, who benefits from this rot? Only the powerful, not the common Goan. Case 3, the most important case, the recent case because of which these videos or these discussions have become even more heated, and rightly so. The Birch by Romeo Lane inferno that killed 25 people. 25. Majority of them workers from Jharkhand and other places coming out to eke a living. Laborers, workers, while the big guys, the big fish, fled immediately after the fire happened. They fled to Phuket instead of coming to Goa, not to be with the people, their staff, but to run away from the law. This wasn't an accident. This was a price of regulatory failure. A nightclub operating in a high-risk corridor, multiple complaints earlier, fire compliance gaps, licensing loopholes, ignored warnings. Nothing worked. Birch by Romeo Lane continued. What happened when 25 people died? The owners fled the country. Just like that, within hours. Ask yourself, how does this happen? Can you do it? How does someone accused in a mass casualty disaster, or who would be obviously accused in a mass casualty disaster, simply walk out of India? You may have different notices being given. CBI may be called, Interpol may be called, and so on and so forth. But we know what has happened. We know what has happened to big scamsters who fled the country and who reside comfortably, doing parties, mingling with other officials, becoming great symbols of their society. In London, in Bermuda, some acquire different passports. Life goes on. You and I cannot travel without correct documents, but people with money, with political blessing and so on and so forth, with the right contacts, they just vanish. The system allows this. Now, the point here is, even before the fire died down, even before the bodies were removed, there was an operation going on. The operation, the government says, was going on to ensure that these illegalities do not happen, that the perpetrators are brought to book. But which perpetrators? You arrest a manager, you arrest a simple worker, you arrest somebody from the panchayat, Yes, somebody stamped licenses, somebody managed inspections, somebody kept silent, but this was a system at work, a system that is a puppet of the puppeteer or the master up above. Nobody's catching the master, nobody's catching the owners, nobody's catching the top echelons in the government who actually run this system. You are basically catching the operators. You're not catching the masterminds. Goa's nightlife economy is now a billion dollar industry, or was a $1 billion industry. It is slipping now, but it only runs on connections. It doesn't run on compliance. Who benefits? Not Goans, not workers, not the law, but big money networks, many based in Delhi, Mumbai, Gurgaon, who treat Goa just as a playground, a factory for profit. And when lives are lost, responsibility disappears. Yes, it does. Liability evaporates. Yes, it does. And the government machinery behaves like a spectator, not a guardian. And I will go a step further. It's not only a spectator, it is a compliant participant in this absolute destruction of Goa. What do these cases actually reveal? All these cases. Let's look at the pattern. Assagao, a powerful Delhi-linked individual, allegedly influences the police behavior. In the cash for jobs scandal, middlemen allegedly trade government jobs because they believe the system can be fixed. In the Birch nightclub fire, safety rules collapse, enforcement collapses, and accused individuals escape. Different cases, different victims, different crimes, but the same disease. A disease that is really rotting Goa from within. Goa's law and order machinery is no longer dependent. No longer is it independent. It is dependent not on the law. It is dependent on influence. It is dependent on connections. It is independent of public good. It is responsive not to the citizens, but to politicians, to moneyed businessmen, and out-of-state power networks. Yes, out-of-state power networks is controlling Goa's government mechanism. When ordinary Goans go to the police station, they face procedure. And when the powerful call, this procedure completely melts. When Goans apply for jobs, they face exams. When rackets operate, exams become only options. When Goans want to build a home, want to extend their house, want to set up a small business, there are rules and rules and rules and rules. Not a single deviation is allowed, and they should not be allowed. But if they are not allowed for Goans, why are they allowed for different money mechanisms? Cases are filed, notices are given. Everybody knows that this Birch Lane by Romeo Lane was a symbol of illegality standing on that fields of Arpora and even Assagao. This is shocking, because when you have a monstrosity standing there with no legal licenses, I mean, it's all there on paper, but there were no fire extinguishers, there was no exit to move out of, there were no other safety protocols, you could not get the fire system on in place. Lives could have been saved that day. But on paper, you may have all the licenses, but in reality, there are no mechanisms for safety. This is not incompetence. None of these cases are due to incompetence. These are not accidents. This is an absolute structural collapse of Goa in a manner that we did not imagine earlier. We know it now. This has become a reality. So where does one go from here? We can't bring back 25 people who died at Birch, can we? We can't undo the trauma of a family whose home was bulldozed in Assagao. We cannot restore the trust lost by young people who were cheated by job scams. But we can ask the right questions. We can demand accountability. We can call out these networks, as we are doing now, political, bureaucratic, financial, that has turned Goa into the playground of the powerful. This is not about parties. Parties meaning political parties. This is not about ideology. This is about citizens and their rights. About a state that should belong to the people, not to those who can manage it. Goa today is being managed, not governed. If you want a safer Goa, a fair Goa, a Goa where law protects all, protects the weak, and challenges are strong, then we must start by naming the problem. Our governance is compromised. Yes, it is. Our policing is pressurized. Yes, it is. And our state has been quietly captured by those who believe that they are untouchable. Look at the Luthras, for instance. Tonight, I'm asking you not just to watch, but to think of what's happening to your beloved Goa. Think about who really runs Goa, and think about how silence and your silence allows them to continue. Thank you for listening.